obviously it's not encouraging. It's not great to hear, but I've also heard, many things that were not encouraging that turned out to be not true or just flat out false. So until the fights get announced, until Conor McGregor gets announced his next opponent, until then, man, all we can do is just hope and pray and kind of see what happens.
Let's go to our next guest. He's a very busy man. He's doing big things over in Cali, I do believe. We've been talking about him a lot. And so it's a great pleasure to say hello to Michael Chandler, who's kind enough to join us for a few minutes here. There he is. Hello, Mike. How are you?
What's up, Ariel? Doing good, man.
It's
hanging out. Yes, I am in LA at Samcom for Anheuser-Busch Form Energy over there, meeting and greeting and talking about big 2026 plans.
What is this? Is this like motivational speaking stuff, or is this?
No, this is just Anheuser-Busch's sales and marketing, like pretty much every distributor, anybody who's anybody in the alcohol space, beer space, obviously the energy drink space with Anheuser-Busch's stake in Form Energy. So we're out here having a good time, man. It's good. And then we go straight to Vegas for the fights.
I'm not going to say specifics, but I do want to ask, funny story, I don't think I spoke about it. My family went away on vacation. I'm landing. I get a text from you saying, hey, are you at this place? Because someone said they just saw you. I was at that place, that same all-inclusive resort in Mexico. We were like two ships in the night. The day I'm landing, or the moment I'm landing, you're texting me, how was the trip? We could have been at the buffet together. We could have been having meals together. We could have been doing workout sessions on the beach.
I know. It was a great vacation. Thank you for asking. And it was really funny because, it was you brought your kids, like brought your whole family.
Yeah.
It was more of a family-friendly place, right? My wife and I love to travel, and we'll go to some swanky all-inclusive places when it's just us. And we were like, well, hey, we're going to find a nice place that's more like kid-friendly. And you saw they had all kinds of events and stuff happening every day for the kids, and it was very fun and entertaining. But there was, a lot of people who obviously recognized me, and then they were like, hey, did you know Ariel Helwani is here? And I'm like, no. So you had met a bunch of people, the great famous Ariel Helwani. Everybody was pumped up that you were there, but we just missed each other by like one day, which would have been really funny because we could have posted some photos if we were on family vacation together, get everybody chattering, like the MMA media and the MMA guy.
Sure. Running on the beach, workouts. By the way, is that annoying when you're kind of in the fishbowl of an all-inclusive and people are coming up because you can't really hide there?
No, you couldn't. And it was, in most of the time, I mean, it comes with the territory, man. Like I'm a lot different probably than a lot of the guys that you talk to. We've been at this for a very long time. I was in Bellator for a very long time, and not a lot of people knew who I was, even though I was working just as hard as everyone else, fighting tooth and nail, putting on some of the most exciting fights and exciting performances, but I just didn't have the platform, so I didn't really get recognized a ton. So now I just enjoy it. Actually, this weekend will be my 5-year anniversary of my UFC debut, so it's only been 5 years. But still seems like, we've gained a lot of ground in these 5 years, and it just comes with the territory, and I enjoy it. My kids kind of enjoy it a little bit. My wife enjoys it. So it's all good, man.
All right. So let's get, people don't want to hear us talk about vacations. The world exploded, Mike, when Dana White did an interview and he was asked about the state of you versus Conor McGregor. Just for the record, I want to play this clip. It's a very quick clip, and then get your reaction, ask you the follow-up. Here's Dana White talking about it too complex.
January 23rd is Zuffa Boxing. January 24th is the first UFC. And then after that card, we'll start working on the White House fight.
I know there's all the talk of Michael Chandler and Conor. Do you see that as a realistic thing happening?
No, I mean, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, so that's nothing you'd entertain for the White House?
No.
What is your reaction to that?
My reaction is we will see. We'll see. We'll see how this whole thing plays out. Obviously, nobody has any idea what the fights are going to be on the White House card. It is going to be the biggest card they've ever assembled, whether it be the biggest fights or obviously the biggest venue. And we'll see. Is that 100% how it's going to be? Me and Conor not fighting at the White House? I don't know. All I know is I can control what I can control, and that's me just doing exactly what I've been doing since day one, since I started the sport. So obviously it's not encouraging. It's not great to hear. But I've also heard many things that were not encouraging that turned out to be not true or just flat out false. So we just keep on going, man, until the fights get announced, until Conor McGregor gets announced his next opponent, until I do or do not get announced as his next opponent, or do not get announced on being on the as being on the White House card. Until then, man, all we can do is just hope and pray and kind of see what happens.
Were you surprised to hear him say that?
No, I mean, you follow the sport. Whether that's what he's feeling that day or that's 100% what's going to happen. Don't know. So all I know is you can control the controllables in life. And, just as I have been, just sitting in the patience, sitting in patience, not reacting to things, responding in due time. That was 5 days ago. Now this is my first public appearance, first time talking about it. Bunch of different other things being talked about, other opponents, people sliding their name in there on your show, and it turns out to be goofy stuff. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, yes, you're referring to Jorge Masvidal. He was on the show on Monday, and he made the pitch. And then Dana White was asked about that in an interview that was posted yesterday with TMZ, and he called it, as you said, goofy stuff, expletive. And so can I just ask, while that was happening with Jorge, and it seemed like it was gaining some momentum, and quite frankly, I don't know where that originated, were you starting to think that that was real, or did you never believe that Jorge was being considered?
I mean, I think he originated it. When you say when you say you cannot confirm nor deny something, you're kind of implying that you're putting your name in there. And like I said, I like Jorge, and I got a ton of respect for him. Shoot, he and I have talked about fighting each other in the past, but it's all respect, man. Super necessary. Street Jesus, man. He's a fan favorite. People love to see him fight. And obviously, he's got the Trump connection. He wants to fight at the White House card. Every single person on the entire roster wants to be on the UFC White House card. At any given moment, somebody wants to try to insert themselves into the talks, into the narrative, into the possible fantasy matchmaking at any given time. So I've known that since the very beginning. I've seen a lot of it, a lot of different talks. But as I said, man, just sitting in the patience of knowing that you can't really control anything, and sometimes narratives can take steam and catch legs. But it remains to be seen. After this weekend, as Dana said, matchmaking starts on Monday. That's when the talks will really be happening to solidify who's on the White House card. I think I'll be on the White House card. Opponent as of right now remains to be seen. So we'll see what happens.
You mentioned Las Vegas at the top. You're going to Las Vegas. You'll be there at 324, I presume, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you hoping to talk to him? Are you hoping to get the real sense of what's going on?
Yeah, maybe, but I'm also not a guy who, I think at certain times in life you need to. I'm all about chasing your dreams. I'm all about chasing your goals. I'm all about taking steps necessary toward getting the outcome that you want. But in this game, you can't force things. You don't have to go force the phone calls and force the emails and force the in-person interactions to go get your answers. I want my answers now. I'm not that kind of guy, right? Maybe that makes me a pushover, or maybe that just makes me smarter than everybody else who does it that way. But that's how I like to operate. So we'll see if we do cross paths. It is all business. We'll have a conversation, but I'm not going to force myself into a meeting or act as though I am so entitled that I deserve answers now because I want answers on my time. So we'll see. Do I want answers? Heck yeah, man. I wish I had answers months ago. I wish I had the answers right now, and I could just sit here and act like I don't have the answers.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I don't have the answers. But it helps you grow as a man, and it helps add layers to your human by living in the uncertainty, not having the answers, and just living with faith, living by faith, knowing that what is going to be is going to be.
Is there any part of you, and I respect that stance 1,000%, is there any part of you that feels a little deflated? This has been such a saga, and to hear him so dismissively move on from the fight, and again, who knows what's real, what's not, what's going to happen. Is there a part of you that feels deflated by all of this?
I am human. So I'm not going to lie and say that it wasn't exactly encouraging. Would I have rather have not have heard it? Of course, but anything short of, yeah, that's definitely a fight we're looking at. Chandler and Conor are 100% going to fight each other, and they're definitely probably going to fight each other at the White House. Anything short of that is going to be deflating, right? So you just got to kind of take it as it comes, and know that you are not in control. Know that they're going to say what they want to say, and they're going to do what they want to do, and I'm just going to be along for the ride. So No, I wouldn't say deflated. I wouldn't go as far as to say deflated because I've still got the confident expectancy that I'm fighting Conor McGregor on the White House lawn. So until I am proven otherwise, we'll just continue in this course of action until the announcement gets made. That's where we're at.
And last thing, trying to kind of figure this all out. Do you have any idea why he feels this way? Because it's not like there haven't been fights where, you know, look, Conor and Dustin fought like, I don't know what it was off the top of my dome, 5-6 years after their first fight. It's not like this has been that long. They revisit rivalries and whatnot. Why does he seem to think, at least based on that answer, like, hey, like this is old?
Yeah, I mean the whole 3 years ago thing is, you know, that seemed like the response of the minute, right? The flavor of the week. That's a very easy response, right? But if not me, then who, right? You know, if you really think about it, Occam's razor, the most obvious choice is probably the choice. The most obvious solution is probably the best solution. We've got the Ultimate Fighter. We had a contract signed. I did it. I did my job. I've done nothing but do my job since I strapped on the gloves for the first time. Matter of fact, since I strapped on the wrestling shoes when I was 14 years old, never pulled out of a fight, never missed weight, never missed a wrestling match, never missed weight in a wrestling match. I'm a man of my word. And when you talk about building a card this historic, this big, you need sure things. You need reliability. You need people who aren't just going to put on a show, which I always do, but you need guys who are going to show up. You've got a guy on the other side of the octagon from Conor McGregor, who's definitely going to show up if you choose. If I'm chosen for this fight, if I end up getting that slot, so we'll see. Reliability over everything, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out, man. I don't think that answer necessarily means it's 100% off.
Okay,
so we'll see.
Conor sort of tweeted about this and alluded to it, I think, just basically saying like, you know, bring on anyone. Here he is, pick who you want, the Max Sweat's nothing and nobody, I'm tasty shots. My understanding, Michael, is that you're his top choice. Do you get that sense as well? Is that your understanding? My understanding is that if it was up to him 100%, it would be you.
I would agree with you. I think so. I think, you know, and as I've said, and people have thrown rocks at me. I could build castles in my backyard with the amount of rocks that have been thrown at me the last couple of years. When it comes to Conor's love for the sport, and he's more of a man of his word than people think he is. Yes, he's flown off the handle a couple times. He's done a couple things here and there that make people question his decision making. But I think he's a man of his word. I think he wants to fight me to end the Ultimate Fighter contract that we had, to make good on the promise that we had for June 29th of 2024 International Fight Week. And the fight just makes sense. It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup. He and I have been thinking about fighting each other for the better part of 3 years now, 2.5 years now. So it's a fight that just makes so much sense. It's an explosive fight and it's an exciting fight. You got him on one side. When you really think about the Irish American heritage in this country of immigrants, as the Irish came over and all of that, and then his love for obviously President Trump and his love for America, right? He owns property in America, lived in America. He will always carry the tricolor flag of Ireland, but he is who he is in large part in a lot of ways because of the fan base in the United States and the UFC being in the United States. And then you got me on the other side, who's a red, white, and blue-blooded American who absolutely loves this country, who will carry the stars and bars on his shoulders to the center of the octagon. So the fight makes a ton of sense. I think I'm his top choice. He's my top choice. That's the fight that we want, but it remains to be seen. Neither of us are in as much control as we wish we were, and we'll see how it plays out after this weekend.
Are you allowed? You say you want to be on the White House card. Obviously, everyone does. It seems like the vast majority of the roster does. Is there a plan B? Are you allowing yourself to think of a plan B at the moment? If not him, is there someone else?
I don't have a plan B. I don't have a plan B until plan A is 100% exhausted. That's kind of where we're at right now. You know, obviously I'm formulating my blocks and my training and my diet and all that stuff leading up to June right now. That's the plan, fighting at the White House, fighting Conor at the White House. But until that train gets completely derailed, and the only way it's going to get derailed is him getting announced against somebody else at the White House, or me getting announced against somebody at the White House. So we'll see.
Is there any chance you fight before that date at this point, or is it so soon that you would like your next fight to be on that date?
No, I mean, I think that ship has sailed at this point.
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of crazy circumstances that happen. But my sights are set solely on the White House lawn, June 14th.
You know Patty, you know Justin. Who are you favoring in that fight?
Man, I always said that Gaethje was going to be a shoe-in to beat Patty. But as we've gotten closer and just remembering and watching Patty, watching his confidence, seeing his skill set develop, obviously sharing the octagon with both of those guys, there's no doubt the more violent man, the more violent puncher is Justin Gaethje, but it's a mixed martial arts fight with 1,000 different ways to win and 1,000 different ways to lose. And I think Patty has more in the toolkit to be able to go out there and get the win. Plus, he does have good cardio. Plus, he can put it together, I think, for 25 minutes if he has to. Plus, he's got the confidence. And, I think Patty should be the favorite as he is in the betting line because of those things. But never bet out or never, what do you call it? Never count out Justin Gaethje. So we'll see, man. I think Patty's closer to winning that title than a lot of people think he is.
I agree as well. There's like a jockeying of position right now between them two, and obviously Arman, who's sort of on the outside looking in right now.
Dude.
What do you make of Arman? What do you make of Arman?
Man, I saw somebody comment the other day where they're like, "Man, Arman's done a really good job of staying relevant, during this time." And I'm like, I get it. He talks about everybody. He's saying my name. He's calling Patty fat this week. Like he's just, it's the unfortunate nature of the business, right? In this clickbait world that we live in, man, where it's just like, ooh, I want some attention right now. I'm just going to go ahead and say something, right? Whereas I just got done telling you, I'm more of a, hey, I want to think on something, respond before I just react and just throw myself into something a lot of times. But yeah, man, no. But one thing I will say about Arman, the dude has stayed busy with these grappling matches. I watched him wrestle live at RAF. He did a great job there. And yeah, man, he's definitely staying busy. So kudos to him.
Maybe not in the UFC, but he did tell us he would like to compete against you in RAF. Are you interested?
Yeah, I think I'm interested. Obviously right now, my plan A, the one thing I'm focused on is fighting at the White House. So his future is somewhat up in the air. Well, mine's up in the air as well, but less up in the air than his is because he doesn't really know who he's going to fight next. Does he fight Topuria next? Probably not now because now they got an interim title or an interim title going on. So who knows there? But yeah, I'll wrestle against him.
Okay. And why I brought him up was of those three guys who are kind of at the top right now, Justin, Patty, Arman, who of those three do you think has a better chance of beating Ilia? The answer could be none of them, but do you think one of them has a better chance among the rest?
Yeah, when you say better chance, you got to choose somebody who. I think he beats all of them.
Ilia beats all of them.
Yeah, his skill set is just so freaking good, man. I think he's the best in the world, hands down. And we haven't really even seen some of his grappling lately, just because he's so dang good and so sharp and so precise and so devastating with his punches. Man, it's just. I think Patty's got a ton of tools. I do think Arman probably has the most tools when it comes to that because I think Arman's wrestling is a little bit better than Patty's, grappling a little bit better than Patty's, and I think his hands are a little bit better. But the big body of Patty, the length would be a problem for Ilia, I think. So, and Patty's good about staying away from the big power punches. Obviously, I'm a power puncher, and he was able to thwart off that attack pretty decently against me. So, Patty's length, but I think Arman's full skill set.
And by the way, speaking of RAF, did you enjoy your experience and do you think that they have longevity? Can they actually be sustainable and be a thing in the wrestling community?
I do, man. They're doing it the right way. I love the sport of wrestling, but I will admit it's somewhat of a boring sport, right? Because it's always been just about the competition. And when you're talking about building events and selling out arenas and stuff, it can't just be about the competition. Even if you got the 10 best wrestling matches across the world, if you don't have a really awesome atmosphere, you don't make it into a really cool show, something that people remember, something that people feel when they're actually there, rather than just watching the competition. So they've got the right mindset behind it. Great minds for putting on big shows. It's a great family-friendly atmosphere. A lot of kids there, man. Like the next generation of the sport is there watching guys wrestle at RAF. I think next month they're in Arizona. So that'll be good. So I'm rooting for them. I loved competing for them, and I did love watching the show. And then I know I just heard you earlier talking about Don Davis and kind of where PFL has been, and you giving some props to the UFC. It is not easy to build a sports franchise like the UFC has, man. So many have tried, and so many have failed. And I'm really rooting for RAF because they got the right people behind it. They're getting great names to come in, and they're getting great guys coming over from the UFC with some name recognition. So that's going to need to keep on happening. And we'll see.
Is that Eddie Alvarez idea, which I loved? Is that a real thing, or is that kind of just like you were throwing it out there? Is that something that's being discussed?
I think it would be a good match, right? And you talk about a rivalry, right? The third fight that never happened. You know, me and Eddie were supposed to fight finish the trilogy, and it never happened. He started out as a wrestler. I obviously started out as a wrestler. It'd be fun to compete against each other. So there's a ton of different matchups and a ton of different names. I think that's the really cool thing about RAF is almost no matchups are off the table. You know, when it comes to weight classes and guys aren't really cutting weight. I did my catch weight at 175 pounds, right? So I'm not going to cut down to 155 for a wrestling match. So I could go wrestle somebody in the 180s, 190s. I could wrestle guys in the 160s. So the matchups can be really widespread, so to speak. And then a bunch of matchups you didn't really think of, you know, whether it comes to age, whether it comes to wrestling background, rivalries. So it's they got a good thing going, man, and I'm rooting for them. And I do think they're going to keep on full steam ahead and just keep on putting on great shows.
Two last things. I don't want to keep you very long. I know you got a lot to do out there. Your take on the Bo Nickal decision to not compete against Yoel when Yoel came in overweight. Do you agree with Bo? I know he took some heat for this. What do you think?
I love that you asked that question, and I took some heat for defending Bo. I did love what he said about, you know, in mixed martial arts, we've made it a thing where guys can just miss weight and give up a little bit of money and then go compete. But to preserve the sport of wrestling is special. And not that the sport of mixed martial arts isn't special, but the sport of wrestling is special, man. And it is the most dedicated, most disciplined, hardest working people on the entire planet. And I do agree with Bo that it's disrespectful to the sport for somebody to come in 8 pounds overweight and then just think that, you know, everything's going to be fine. I'll show up 8 pounds overweight and everything will be okay. And Bo, you know, people are always going to be upset because they want to see Bo compete. And I'm sure RAF was, you know, upset because they want to see Bo compete as well. But at some point, you know, you got to put your foot down and be like, hey, man, if you don't weigh in, you don't wrestle. You know, if you don't make weight, that is the prerequisite. So you can say that Bo made a cowardly decision or you're mad at him, but really you're just mad you didn't get to watch him compete. But really, what about Yoel Romero not coming through and fulfilling his end of the bargain of actually going through with the prerequisite to wrestle? So that's where I'm at. I can't say whether I would or would not have taken the match, but I don't disagree with Bo that he said it's disrespectful to the sport to come in 8 pounds overweight.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough spot. I think he made the right call. Who the hell am I? But I kind of feel like he's got a lot to lose right now. This is his sport. He's in the prime of his UFC career. Why take that risk? One last thing before I let you go. Tom Aspinall on his YouTube channel was speaking to Paddy Pimblett. Paddy had some harsh things to say about you. Have you heard these quotes?
No.
Just for the record, I just wanted to ask you real quick. I like Chandler, he said. Chandler's a proper nice fella, but in the cage, he's a dirty bastard. Have you seen the amount of punches in the back of the head Chandler does? You know what I mean? Back of the head punches, effing fingers in people's mouths. What's your response to that?
Did I punch Paddy in the back of the head? Can't remember.
He says he tried to do that to Dustin Poirier, and he bit him because he tried to do that eye pokes. He volleyed me in the balls right up the middle. It was the most blatant one ever. I went to kick him, and he just went up to the middle. F off. Like he said, he tried to teep me. I was like, come on, lad.
So what? We threw a kick at the exact same time, and I kicked him in the balls. That happens in 26% of fights. So I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. Guys throw punches at the exact same time. Guys throw kicks in the exact same time. Me and Poirier have already buried the hatchet, and we explained what happened there with my fingers in his mouth. Yeah. I was reaching down to grab his chin. His mouth was open, so I grabbed his mouth guard instead of his chin. And when you're in there, you can't exactly see what's going on down there when you got someone's back. So things happen inside the cage, man. I don't really care what he says, and people don't really actually understand what the back of the head is either. So if you're catching the ear, it's not a back of the head shot. So I'm not really that worried about it, man. But thanks for bringing it up.
Fair. No, I understand. I know it's not the nicest thing to hear, but I did want to give you a chance to respond.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, he said it's a blatant kick in the balls. Yeah, if you go back and watch a instant replay, you're going to see a blatant kick in the balls. But bodies move. You know, we're kicking at the exact same time. It's just it's what is going on inside of an octagon. You're making split second decisions while a guy's trying to take your head off. So, man, good luck to him, man. And I think it's kind of bush league and somewhat beta male to bring up a lot of this stuff anyway. So I'm not really that worried about it.
Okay. And by the way, do you mean beta on my part or his part?
Not you.
Okay.
Not you. No. Well, I mean,
just maybe.
no, you're just doing your job.
All
you know,
right.
I could have pulled a Sandhagen and be like, "What's that? You cut out. You cut out." That was good by him. Yeah, I think it's just somewhat a beta thing to bring up that stuff. So by some of the toughest fighters on the planet, but whatever, man.
I genuinely and sincerely hope this works out. I hope we see you on June 14th fighting Conor McGregor. You deserve it. You've earned it. You've put in the time. You've been very, very patient, more patient than most would be. And so hopefully it all works out after this weekend and you get that good news soon. Thank you for doing this, Mike, and good luck out there and good luck traveling over to Vegas.
You got it, man.
There,
at the top.
There he is, the one and only Michael Chandler coming on to give his side of everything that is transpiring. It is quite the... it is quite the saga between him and Conor, and I'm curious, and I think we all are very curious to see how it all plays out. I suspect there'll be a few more twists and turns. Oh, by the way, Conor McGregor saying, I do need to negotiate my contract. We need to talk about that one. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.